The next speaker is Professor Pradeep Dev. So Professor Pradeep Dev is the director of ICR Atari Kolkata. He has got extensive experience in agriculture, research, technology, application and extension. And he has played a key role in development of commercialization of, I don't know what is this, it's a portable soil testing kit, contributing to over 15% of India's soil health card. He had led numerous research projects and successfully mobilized external funding for cutting edge technologies. And he's a president elect of the Indian Science Congress Association and has served in various leadership roles in national and international scientific bodies. Yeah. And also he has got 2 gold medals and Social Innovator Award by the World Bank. Yeah. So with this scientific leadership, now I invite you, sir, to deliver your talk. Thank you.
We have so many eminent speakers here. Madam Shubhra already talked and very good presentation. But this presentation will be somewhat different than biology side. It is basically, it will be dealing with biointensive management of soil health. What is soil health and how it can be managed. So just let me start with Professor Swaminathan's one quote that evergreen revolution, it should associate with that ecological aspect without harming the ecology. And thanks to this particular institute and also MS Swaminathan Research Foundation for giving me this opportunity to talk before you today. So as it was discussed earlier that ecology-based management requires to think of soil health because soil health is the main foundation of our food security as well as animal, plant and human that health security. Beyond agriculture, it is also having economic and social dimension apart from ecological consideration. Then land degradation, it impacts 2.3 billion people worldwide. This is one data from IPBES. And then towards land degradation neutrality, we have a commitment from Indian government side, and whole world is also having a commitment towards the SDG 13. Earlier, this particular land degradation was actually, we could restrict it to a particular level for long. Then, over time, because of production pressure, it declined, but whether it will stabilize at this level, where this note of interrogation is here, or it will decline further, or we can take some offset management practices and then we can increase the soil health. That's the point of discussion. And worldwide soil is under severe threat. One estimate predicts that we have only 60 years of farming left on the earth with this type of soil degradation that we are encountering if we don't take any offset management practices. This is from Food and Agriculture Organization prediction. Now soil, it appeared on earth, particularly it is from the molten magma that was solidified because of rainfall and air, and then with the impact of rainfall and sunshine, this was broken down to small particles that you can call dirt. But there is a difference between dirt and soil, because soil, we don't say dirt because it is having, it is called full of soul. That soul is because of microbe. All types of microbes, including some macroorganism also, but because of that, it is so much so that 1 teaspoon of soil is having microbe to the extent of more than human population as on today on the earth. That is the number, unique number. That's why soil is very dynamic and living. Then climate change is another one which is impacting soil health, and it is mainly the frequency of the different phenomena that is actually creating problem. And another thing from FAO side, it came that over the last 70 years, the level of vitamin and mineral that is in human food, that has come down drastically. And number two, over 2 billion people, they are affected by hidden hunger of micronutrient. There are different spectrum of nutrition, that is you can say stunting, wasting to hidden hunger to obese. All these are actually problem. All these are problem, and a particular soil which is having good health can together with some choice of crop can tackle whole the spectrum, like millet is one. Millet can tackle right from your stunting wasting to hidden hunger to even obese. All the spectrum can be tackled by millet. Then another one is climate resilient agriculture. It was told that we have to have some target for our energy, this energy requirement, and how that energy has to be obtained. There we also have committed for land degradation neutrality, where carbon sequestration has to be more. And you will be, perhaps many of you know, but one thing is that on the earth, total number of trees and total plant, forest, that also sequesters some carbon. So that total carbon plus whatever we have done above earth, that is air, that pollution, carbon dioxide, methane, carbon dioxide, all those, total carbon in the air and total carbon in the forest and all plant put together is actually an amount that is in the soil. So that's why we don't take it so seriously, but if you disturb the soil to a great extent, ultimately it will emit to air. And most of the carbon is actually sequestered in the sea siltation. So if you disturb sea, so we all will perish, because carbon dioxide, it comes out, one flash means it's gone. It is such a huge carbon is actually trapped in under seabed. Then under different land degradation that data, we have seen that nowadays we are restricting to this data, that is 120.4 million hectare. This is harmonized database from several agencies put together, and that out of that database we can see the split, how different things are operating. So water erosion is the most important, followed by different other erosion, but this is most important, land degradation process. Then arid ecosystem, there are major, we can say 5 ecosystem. One is arid, semi-arid, subhumid, humid and perhumid. So arid ecosystem, this is this side, you know, and somewhat this particular patch, and little bit here and there some patches you can see. So this particular ecosystem, actually here main problem is actually wind erosion. By wind, soil is eroded and nutrition is also lost. Semi-arid, this is the patch, that is total semi-arid, this colored portion, and here most of the erosion is of course water erosion. And we have also some saline and sodic soil, that is high pH soil. That pH is very high and they are dispersed, and then soil physical condition is bad actually. Then we have subhumid situation. Subhumid situation is this colored portion. In this particular ecosystem, our, of course, again main is water erosion, but together with it, we have some patches where acidity, soil acidity is also very important, particularly all the plateau region and hill region. All the red soil are acidic soil, you can say in that connotation. So again, different biodiversity, including microbe, they have a definite niche for a particular soil, and soil microbe association, that can be segregated, and that is also a kind of indicator how you can project different microbe in different type of soil, and then what is their action activity in that soil. Then this is humid area, here rainfall is very high, and here also some acid soil is prevalent. Then we have coastal soil, both the coast, about 7,500 kilometer of coast region in India, and east coast and west coast. Here main problem is high EC, electrical conductivity. That is the main problem, that is actually limiting the yield. Then challenge wise, annual soil erosion is 5.3 billion, soil is lost. Nutrient loss is 8 million ton, nitrogen, phosphorus and potash, only these three put together. Sometimes it is 10 million ton, and then physical constraint are 89.5 million hectare, and then we have also water, wind, salt affected soil and acid soil. These are the total. All these maps are also available, fortunately. So those who are just want to identify or go into some researching what is the particular microbe that is important, and then overlay different type of soil, then soil ecological soil based microbe niche can be developed, and then that can be projected for targeting some of your, like what was being talked, like metabolite formation or say inside the plant or some other thing. So that type of research can also be done. Then we also have the wasteland, and this according to these wasteland categories, we have three things we are actually superimposing. One is physiography, that is physical geography, together is called physiography. So physical properties of the soil and geographical origin. Along with that, length of degree days, how many growing degree days available for that particular region, and water availability in the root zone. Putting these three means environmental condition as well as soil type, that is superimposed, and then we come across with this type of mapping. And then prioritizing states on erosion and erosion risks and productivity loss. Then we have wind erosion and physical degradation map. We have problem soil map along with poor quality water. In between, this one is poor quality water, this is salt affected soil, and this is acid soil map. What I mean to say that these maps are available. Those who want to have some insight of soil association with a particular your microbial or microbial abundance study, then it can be done. It can be done two ways. Number one, soil property wise. Number two, ecological occurrence of soil vis-a-vis your micro dominance. Then there are some constraint of productivity. One is imbalanced nutrient application, decline in organic carbon in many places, of course not all places but many places, negative nutrient balance of 8 to 10 million tons, sometimes it is also predicted 12 million tons per year, and then emerging multi-nutrient deficiencies. Now we have also maps superimposed where not only one nutrient deficiency but multi-nutrient deficiency that can be segregated. Then we have development of soil acidity, salinity and alkalinity, and disproportionate growth and biodiversity. There are also that type of constraints available. And we have different management goal of say productivity, waste recycling and environmental protection along with different soil function. We usually say soil function is one function that is reflected in the yield, but there are water relation with the plant and with the microbe also, and with the rhizosphere microbe and rhizo deposition and microbial association with that rhizo deposition. Up to that one can go. And then the buffering capacity of the soil, and all those things are associated with different soil properties like thickness of soil, then organic carbon, pH, EC, bulk density. If we measure all these soil properties, ultimately we can also see how different soil properties are affecting different sustainable development goal. And here 6 sustainable development goal along with soil properties that has been made associated. And we have, as I was telling, that different soil functions are there, and there are some key indicators for that type of particular function. Like biodiversity and productivity yield function, we have soil organic carbon, total nitrogen, pH, bases, different bases, calcium, magnesium. Then is electrical conductivity, erosion and plant available water. Like that, for all soil function, we have some master indicator we have segregated through principal component analysis and yield superimposition. But one thing is there, that in all these soil function, one soil organic carbon, it appears in many places. That's why we call soil organic carbon as master indicator. That is called master indicator in soil function. And soil quality wise, we only many a time we talk about chemical function, but biological and physical attributes put together actually defines the soil quality, and then crop yield and crop quality mainly. So we have to think together the chemical attributes, physical and biological attributes, and these are some functions of different attributes. Two terms come in literature just for the students to clarify: soil quality and soil health. Basically, soil quality is a kind of instantaneous measurement of soil properties and which is the most important. That is the instantaneous property that may change over time. But if we take a broad spectrum, a say at least 5-year spectrum, then we can say that as soil quality. So it is a continuity or sustainability term is associated with soil quality. There are different strategies to manage soil and get good yield as well as good soil health. One is targeting yield without compromising soil health. In this, it is called soil test crop response correlation approach, where we target yield, not we, we target yield based on nutrient management and see that soil quality is not deteriorated. Here actually we create different types of say fertility gradient, and from there we analyze, we create 3 strips, and out of these 3 strips we analyze nitrogen, phosphorus and potash mainly macronutrient, and then how they are different in each strip, that standard error should be different so that we are ascertain that each strip is different. Then we superimpose different nutrient, and then we arrive at this type of equation. This coefficient we obtain from that complex experiment. So we some target yield with multiplied by some equation. This is actually total nitrogen requirement minus whatever the soil supplied with a coefficient that is 0.8, again derived from that particular complex experiment of 72 plots, and then minus what we get from FIM or say vermicompost. So total requirement minus soil supply minus what we get from organics, that is fertilizer requirement, we have to put it through fertilizer. On organic management, we can put it as 0 because we don't want to put anything on fertilizer. So you can put this thing as plus this side. Putting this 0 means this equation you convert to this side. So this will be plus 0.52 FIM. So if you divide whole the side with 0.52, you will get how much organic needs to be applied to get that yield. So we are not actually getting the yield just what is produced or up to the potential yield or 80%, 90% of the potential, but based on resource availability of the farmer, we can actually target the yield. A poor farmer can put lesser investment and get the yield. A resource rich farmer with good endowment capacity, they can have target higher yield. So based on resource endowment, they can get their yield. So that is also possible. And in this way, we have seen that over farmer practice and over state recommendation that is given, we can increase the yield, and this is the increased percentage under soil test crop response correlation studies. This is from Western Himalayan zone, that is we call zone 1. This is from zone 2, Eastern Himalayan zone, and everywhere in different zone we have pulled together from different FLDs and then for different crops, and we can see the yield advantage. Just to show that it is working, this is actually this particular zone is Tamil Nadu, it falls, and here also we have seen that it is working. In coastal zone, dry zone, that is our Bikaner region. Another is sustainability. We have seen that this yield, actually this particular is state recommendation, and this is STCR based recommendation. In some years it is narrowed down, maybe in that year, actually not maybe, actually we have gone back and analyzed, in those years actually the climatic situation was a constraint. So in those years it was narrowed down, but over the years sustainable yield index, that is actually over the state recommended dose, whatever we got. And we have seen that benefit cost ratio is 1 to 2 in 35% cases, 2.1 to 3 in another 62% cases, and more than 3 in 3% cases. So if you put together these two, that is 62 and 3, that is 65% cases. So about 2/3 of the total cases. This is from Tamil Nadu actually. I have put only Tamil Nadu here. Uh, 66 crop and yield target situation. It is a big combination. So 2/3 of the cases, more than 2 we can get through yield targeting. And 1/3 cases, 35% cases, 33 is 1/3, just a little bit more than 33. So up to 2, that means here it can serve as a supporting technology, but in 2/3 cases it can alone serve as a technology to target the yield. Then we had soil quality index. Here we analyzed different factors of soil, and then all the factors were grouped into 4 principal PC analysis, PC1, PC2, PC3, PC4. Those who know that it is easy for them, but for others it is just from the eigenvalues, it is calculated, and then base 2 are taken for each principal component, and we get 8 total properties out of say 16 to 20 properties, and then when we segregate to 8 properties, again we give the expert scoring, and we also deduct some 3 properties. So total, I have seen from my experience that our work in different places, we had 25 centers earlier in throughout India, that is 20 SAUs, one is BHU, that is Central University, and 4 ICR institutes. So earlier I was working as national coordinator of one All India Coordinated Research Project. So at 5 critical component, if you just address, then you can address 80% cases, yield loss cases. 20% cases you cannot address because farmers by default or by their knowledge, by their age-old practice, they are actually approaching towards that harmony of different nutrient management. That's why those cases left apart, 80% cases we can increase about 20% yield. That is possible. And in this way, some cases I can mention that expert scoring, they have found that PC, it is just giving from the data. So sometimes copper was actually, available copper was told as a critical factor, but we know that particular place copper cannot be a critical factor. So expert scoring out of after PC analysis is very important, and we have to discard some of the factors which was actually factored in by the PC analysis, and then 5 factors like that we have just I have marked here, underlined, and these considered for such this soil quality index parameter calculation. Then through long term studies also we have, this is from TNAU, and we have seen that it is working. And in Hisar, that is arid, semi-arid zone, a bit arid, but it is semi-arid classified. And here also we have seen that organic carbon, then physical properties, that is water stable aggregate and mean weight diameter of the soil, and also water hydraulic conductivity, that is water transmission properties, those are affected by different application, and if we apply STCR IPNS based approach, then it is actually working in a nice way. Then inclusion of legume is very important because of nitrogen fixation. In any case, we sometimes forget that this cropping system is also very, very important. That has to be. Then strategy 2 is soil biological health sustenance. We have different type of biodegradable waste, and we have say 679 million tons of residue, but all of it cannot be used, but 1/3 we can use it. back to the soil. And there are three ways to do that, and we also have municipal soil solid waste that can be used and animal waste. And three ways are either manure path or biochar path or conservation agriculture. So conservation agriculture we are promoting because burning is a problem, but not only to solve the problem, but we can increase the soil health also. And it is also having minimum tillage or zero tillage, residue retention or incorporation, and crop diversification. These three things can be solved together. When we disrupt the soil layer to a great extent, these cycles are actually very smooth. But when we disrupt, then this cycle is actually faster, and then it moves away from the soil. Then we also have this good thing about residue retention or incorporation, but retention is better because we get more lignification. Lignin generation is more, and that goes to long-term carbon sequestration. We have Rapo compost and biofertilizer. Rapo compost means rapid composting is short form Rapo compost, and biofertilizer. These are also now commercially available, and that can be used. Then microbial enriched compost, EM, we call efficient microbial formulation, that can be used. Phosphosulfur nitro compost we also tried, where phosphorus, sulfur and nitrogen was doped, and then that compost also having good properties. Vermicompost you know, and biochar. Biochar only it is a good thing, but we need to have dual purpose biochar, like energy plus biochar, then only parasite is sustainable. And number two, for high pH soil, more than 8 or 8.5 particularly, we should not use biochar because ashing always increases pH. All the red soil and laterite soil are good part for biochar application, but those soil which are having high pH, we should actually restrict biochar. But sometimes because just we have some mission, some project, we forget to tell all this bad thing also. That should be known to all. Then another strategy is soil physical condition. We have some machinery now where broadbed furrow method, where sticky soil like black cotton soil can be dealt with, and even in high rainfall we have very good soybean yield in this type of. Other places it will just dry up if it is 48 hours of inundation. Then economics of this broadbed furrow together with INM was found to be very good. And then water saving also through raised bed planting is very high. Then another strategy is soil health management with changing climate and soil pollution, particularly microplastic pollution. We have seen that in different microorganism, inside the microorganism, this microplastic has gone, and that is also can be seen in many species nowadays. It acts as a physical barrier where actually organic carbon should have gone and make the soil more aggregate. So there means many tiny these particles those are coming and making the soil wide apart and opening up the soil. It is a source of again carbon dioxide because of that. Then we have shrimp shell product, pond shell product and seaweed based product, and we have geotextile through which we can have some solution. Bioplastics are there, but it is as on now it is costly, but maybe through scaling up, but these are possibilities. Then we have in the tannery chromium is a particular problem. All the tanneries are there. Their soil chromium, this pollution is a problem. Arsenic pollution was told by Dr. Sasane, and then we have some varietal and also microbial as well as alternate wetting and drying type of thing which can solve the problem. With increasing carbon dioxide, actually it can serve as a carbon fertilization, but limitation is we have to have use more nitrogen in that case and more water. So, and that too up to certain level. After that, respiration will be more and then crop yield will be declined. But up to certain extent, carbon dioxide, higher carbon dioxide can serve a carbon fertilization aspect. Then GPS, GIS-based soil fertility evaluation and nutrient plan, where pattern, relationship and process can be superimposed and we can make different layers, and for precision conservation and precision agriculture, these layers are important, superimposition and then take a decision. These are the different maps of already published in website. So, nitrogen, phosphorus and all the agroecological based map of micronutrient, these are there. And good part is if you superimpose 5 critical factors, most critical factors of a particular region, this is from Bikani district, we can have this type of cluster. And these particular cluster of the same color will behave similarly and we can have customized fertilizer for those cluster directly for the farmer. And these 7 customized grade with Nagarjuna NFCL and 8 customized grade with Indugal fertilizer through 2 consultancy project it was developed in through our projects, and that was included in FCO, fertilizer control order, and these can increase the yield and partial factor productivity. Then another one is through decision support system. This is the soil health card, where if you blow up this particular portion, you can see that STCR was supplied by this our lab, and in Kiran portal of Northeast as well as standalone program of Decipher of TNAU, then another app from our MPKV Rahuri Center Maharashtra, and Karnataka government has taken up this particular online fertilizer recommendation system of STCR. This tells about how we can have balanced fertilization and manage the yield as well as soil health. Kisan 2.0 of ICR, it integrates more than 300 agri apps in a particular place. Those students can see, look into those apps, and just with the help of those apps also you can aggregate some of the database, those who are knowledgeable in this particular field. Then Kisan Sarthi is a portal that through ICR we are promoting. Already more than 5.8 crore advisories sent through this portal to about 2 crore farmers, 1.94 as on date. These are the status in our zone, that is Andaman Nicobar, Odisha and West Bengal. And we are also promoting drone nowadays through all arteries. Drones are being promoted for precision cultivation. Way forward is, one is soil spectroscopy. We have seen that through in near infrared, mid infrared and FIR, particularly mid infrared spectroscopy, we have some experience. This is rapid, very less soil is required, and this is dry. So this can be taken particularly for nitrogen through organic carbon, PHEC, soil texture, and to some extent soil structure also through soil texture. So these factors we can very well predict. So far phosphorus and potassium is having some problem, we are trying to solve that. But for organic carbon, PHEC and soil texture, it can be used as on today. So this type of spectra we get, and then we can, this is a kind of library in the back end. The much bigger library will be much better prediction ultimately. This is another portable X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy. This is called total nutrient analysis in situ is possible, not of course available nutrient. And then ion sensitive electrode or selectrode we call it. So those can be also used, but this is specially you have seen for phosphorus it is good, for others nitrate it is working but difficult to install under field condition. It requires specialized training, that is the only drawback. Then we have some, just to, because it is for the student, there are some database available in India in different places. One is through NBSS LOP, this is the Krishi portal. You can see 6 particular database through which you can get, particularly this ICR Geo portal, this particular sub portal of Krishi portal you can look into, you will get lot of database. So based on your this data requirement, you can use these databases. Okay. So just for the student it was given. Then RAPSIS is another, this is from the rubber board. So here all the plantation crop database you can get, even for some nutrient. So this database can be sourced from this particular website. So the good part is both the purpose of balancing nutrient use, soil health as well as land degradation, addressing land degradation. This can be done by this type of database if you access, put together and then put your data, own data, whatever you are studying through say soil microbe or soil metabolite or something, and then come out what are the particular agroecology which is actually good for that particular metabolite or say microbe or exudate like that. And you know hotspot is a known fact. Of course, less anthropogenic activity is one cause, but another cause is agroecology of that particular place, soil type, then climate. So that means that is also having some bearing. So this will help you for superimposition and coming out. There's indigenous technical knowledge is also very, very important. Lot of indigenous technical knowledge is available, both EWI factor, environmental factor and socioeconomic factor. It is there and over time this has evolved. That means it is already inbuilt. And we have seen this type of one Indian Journal of Traditional Knowledge we have published one paper earlier. So this available in the local situation of this Chodnagpur plateau, Bastar plateau, different plateau region. Even this structure, no, this is actually considered very good structure even nowadays for hydrological engineers. And they are practicing since age old. We have seen under field condition, they are not doing it with say masonry construction, but their own resources, wood log and something, some mud like that. So this is also important. This is called a challenge solution matrix for community-led soil management. Just these things we are now propagating, there are different challenges. Each challenges is having their solution in front of that. So through that, this actually give you a kind of policy dimension and decision making ability. And you know, those who know little bit about design thinking, if you have read, there are 5 components of design thinking. That is a big lecture altogether I sometimes deliver. But it starts with, to your amazement, it starts with empathy, followed by definition, then ideation, defining the problem, then ideation, then prototype and then testing. So empathy is the first thing, to identify and appreciate their problem first. Then you can define their problem, prioritize, choose your based on your knowledge and then you address. That's actually basic of this challenge solution matrix. And then biophysical factor, infrastructure, credit facility and local governance. These 3 things can be dealt together with community intervention, and then we can come out with present and future food security as well as ecosystem services. Land degradation neutrality, I told, this is already dealt, but through people's participation, this is only possible, not in isolation. And then some policy framework. Here, if you look closely, land governance, 5 things I will tell later on, or maybe time is short. This land governance, there are so many 9 SDGs are associated with land governance. We sometimes forgot in the euphoria of our technology, we don't consider this thing and our technology fails under field condition. So these 5 things are important: land governance, extension advisory, finance and local market, local governance and cooperation, and indigenous technological knowledge, and different SDGs associated with them that I have shown. And if we consider all the things, then all the 4 arms of ecosystem services, that is provisioning approach, provisioning of food feed fiber, then controlling approach, in soil it is carbon sequestration or carbon capturing, then nutrient cycling, that is support service, and cultural aspect, all the 4 arms we can study. And this policy matrix was dealt in detail in Current Science, one particular publication came, and from 5 different world soil program that was sponsored by GIZ and German government, that whole the thing was crystallized in this paper. and so on. Ultimately, we want to have the land this variability captured, and through cloud computing in the farmer's mobile it should be delivered. That is ultimate aim. And for that, precision farming is best approach where different layers are superimposed and decision is arrived. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Maybe some more time I have taken. Sorry for that.
So thank you very much for taking us across spectrum of approaches to study the soil health management. Want of time, one or two questions. Any question?
So, just a naive question I have is we talk about rotation of crops for the improved soil health. So that has been considered in your approach?
Yeah. Rotation of crop, just I touched that uh, for pulses, but of course the legume based system and also deep root, shallow root, that type of for nutrient cycling, those are actually important, very important for maintaining soil health and cycling of the nutrition.
And how far insufficient data is a problem in your analysis?
Cropping system based data is less, but soil data now lot of data available. So through this through say GIS system of layering, we are trying to solve that insufficiency to some extent, because we have lot of data on soil property based data, and also segregated through principal components. That data is also available in many places in all agroecology. So we can take those data, and based on your requirement you can superimpose and come out with your best result.
So when you do that, do you have a climate data also?
Yeah, climate
Because
data.
it will be related to the climate data.
Actually, that GKMS project, Gramin Krishi Mosam Seva. So that, of course, that was discontinued last year. It is there, but those stations are even district based. Those data now available in all KVKs. That particular project was actually Government of India was running through KVKs. We have now that district, mainly that data, actually district wise data is important, block wise data is important, because we have seen that rain and no rain, it happens in many places, say 15 kilometers apart. So yes, rigor of data is a question mark, but nowadays at least district wise data is available. That not soil improvement, but water management we have. Okay. But soil improvement, there are some studies, not in our place, but I have read some studies. They are trying for some nanosensors. But nanosensors main problem is because those sensors, if you want to have real-time data, then it should be on the field. And in the field, that because of movement of traffic, tractor and all, and some operation, it is difficult. Number two, its installation is also a question mark. We have seen the.
These would be more of a point of care kind of device, no?
Yeah, yeah.
So you could just, it's like a pregnancy strip. So you could just.
Then that is that is
So that
possible.
would be a lot easier to then collect the data,
Connect,
and can be connected to the mobile and, networks and everything.
Two things to be balanced in my whatever experience I have. A spectral option is to me is a good option, because you need very less soil, even you can transport that many times, and it just requires you to put that little soil, push it, take the scan and put another one. It is as simple as that. Only thing is your library should be very good.
Yeah.
The background library. So I think spectroscopy is having better potential, because I have seen that even the sensors, earlier sensors, put it by the expert soil scientists even difficult. What to talk about farmers or even KVK personnel, because they are not having that much capacity to do that.
So any questions from the students? We'll take one question.
Yes, please.
Sir, it was a nice presentation. I wanted to ask you about biochar. So, you mentioned when you add biochar to an acidic soil, it won't have much effect. So, why is that, sir?
Actually, pH of the acid soil is usually less than 6, you can say. Of course, it should be less than 7, but we can say 6.5 to 7.5 is actually one pH range is neutral. So, from 6, below 6 is actually we call acid soil or acidic soil. So, there because of by nature of anything if you char or make ash, their pH goes up because you are concentrating many alkaline matter. Composition of any plant, 50% is say carbon, you leave apart. Like that you can see 48 to 50% is carbon if you see a plant. Then major part will come, of course that hydrogen and oxygen is also there, you leave that because there is a gaseous form, and then it will come as calcium magnesium. So those are alkaline earth. So those will increase the pH when you ash. So that's why more than 8.5 it will increase further. So soil alkalinity will increase, so dispersion will be more in the soil.